Welcome to our live Q&A. So today is about having a conversation about creating your own empire, creating the future. And while we will probably talk about many things, and we will be talking about the Build Your Own Empire program that this call is based on and is referencing or is about, where what I'd also really like to talk about is actually creating your life, creating your future, and creating your business. And one of my main motivations for having this conversation is actually the awareness and even the recognition earlier on in my life was that a lot of people don't actually have a long-term goal, or we're not looking 5 years in the future, 10 years in the future, or 20 years in the future. Sometimes, or often, life is really about getting through the day-to-day. And the crazy thing is, even for those of us with businesses, sometimes you can get so caught up in the day-to-day, or you can get so caught up in just surviving and hoping your business survives, that you don't actually put your energy or any attention on the creation of the future. And so if any of you have felt like you're not moving along further or faster, or with as much awareness of the future you're creating as you could, or that you would like to, or that hadn't even occurred to you because you're in the day-to-day and you're wondering how to just make enough money for that day, or get enough clients, or survive, or cope and balance with having a family, having kids, running a business, or whatever it is for you. Today is actually about having a conversation where we get the juices flowing and we get this energy present in our lives. And the energy that we're talking about is also the energy that when I'm talking about building your own empire. When this program got created, and it's been a long time in the making, and I'll talk, if you have no idea what Build Your Own Empire program is, don't worry, I'll fill you in. But basically it's a program, and it got the initial idea and the whispers of it occurred about 18 months ago. And when the name presented itself to me, I was like, isn't that a little extreme? Like, empire? Like, isn't empire like something really, really big, and something that perhaps royalty has, or like a massive global business that's generating millions or billions of dollars? Like, that's what you would call an empire. I'm not sure that I could or should be running a program based on using the word empire. But then the awareness that came through, because I download, or I receive all of the names for my classes and programs. I don't come up with them myself. I'd come up with much more practical names. And when I sat down though and looked at it and got some more awareness around it, I realized that we could be creating empires. And if we actually had the awareness of what was possible and included that future from now, and had that energy lead us and pull us, while still doing everything we need to from now to institute and create from wherever we are, then actually a lot of us would get a lot further, a lot faster, and not now, and maybe not next year, but actually 5, 10, 20 years from now, if you don't give up, if you keep going, and if you are led by the vision and the awareness of the empire that's possible, that is what would be created. But how many people do you know personally that actually gave up before that occurred? How many people give up? How many people get stuck in the day-to-day? How many people make it about just making enough, just surviving, just having a little bit more than they need? And so the empire doesn't get created. So not only am I working to ensure that doesn't happen in my life and in my business. But this program is about helping those of you that would like to set up and create the future for your business as well to do that. And this program brings together many aspects, and they're all quite future or creating a future related. So I'll share more about the program shortly after I talk to you guys and hear your points of view on this. But the elements or aspects that are included in this program are also giving you the qualification and the information and the mentoring required to also go on and become a facilitator of body whispering or business whispering, or a certified business whispering coach. And that's all part of creating a future. That's not going to happen overnight. These are not qualifications that you will get overnight after attending one class, but it's about getting you on that journey and really creating a future. So for me, the kind of person I am, this really appeals to me, because everything that I've done, the qualifications that I've had, where I'm at in my business, they haven't happened overnight. You know, everything's taken a long time. What feels like a long time, what felt like a long time at the time. But the interesting thing is where I am now, like sitting on the fruits of that labor. It's like, wow, yeah, so I spent 10 years getting here, but now I'm somewhere really amazing. And so I wonder what another 10 years is going to create. And so it's about having that awareness and bringing that in and being quite intentional and really supported in creating a vision that maybe is far greater than what you think you're creating or where you will be in 10 years' time. So, how are you all doing? Any questions, comments, or queries? So today I was really interested in actually having a conversation. I probably don't know a lot of you on this call. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you're at in terms of your business, in terms of your life. I don't know what you'd like to get out of this conversation. I came into it actually with the energy of genuinely wanting to connect and have this conversation. I know there's a program. I know that we're going to be doing a lot of promotion for it coming up. I know there's going to be lots more information coming out about the program. The interesting thing about the program is there's already people that before we even launched it that have signed up for it. So today for me was also not so much about just making it about the program. It was actually making it about what's possible for you and talking about the futures that we're creating. And we'll definitely do another call closer to when the program starts, because the program starts next month in July. So today we're talking to you and getting the juices flowing. Later on in the month, we'll do some more promotional stuff. We'll send you guys more information, and then we'll go from there. So I've been doing some one-on-one calls. So everyone that applies to this program, I do a one-on-one with them to make sure that this is the right fit for them, because it's a year-long program. It's quite a commitment. It's at a slightly higher price point, and there is the requirement that you have a business and you're committed to creating your future, and you know that it's a journey and there might be some ups and downs, or there might be the work required that you have to do, but we really want to support and mentor you to getting there. And I've been asking these people as I'm doing the one-on-ones, like, what would they like to get out of this? What's their motivation for wanting to do this program, or what's missing in their life? And one of the answers that keeps coming up that I'm loving is the remembering to be connected to the greater picture, the remembering the bigness, and the being in alignment, doing the business whispering, not getting into your head and not getting stuck into how you think things should be, or not getting stuck in a rut, as we say, with all of the doing in business, and actually being more about being who you are and being in alignment with your business, and having some accountability and this constant reminder and this way of constantly connecting with and to the energy and the source of not only consciousness, but the entity that is your business, plus the entity of conscious facilitation, plus then having support in doing the physical aspects of what you need to do to create your business. So what I love about that is, for me, I hadn't thought that a high priority for other people. Like, I didn't think the biggest ask for people would be to help them stay connected to the energy and to help them be out of their minds and be connected energetically, because I'm always connected energetically, but I always am looking for more mentoring and help with the physical and practical. So this program, so for me, that's like just my area of total ease. And I've got like, there is this stepping into and stepping into and stepping into more and more and more of who you are and the conscious entity that you are and the being that you are. And then you show up, and whatever it is that you're creating, whether it's how you're showing up with your family, how you're showing up in your life, how you're showing up in your business, you show up as you in your business with that connection, with that alignment, with that intention. And it's so much easier. The path is so much clearer. I'm not saying it's completely easy. I'm not saying there are no road bumps, but it's a totally different experience than trying to do things the way you might have been taught, maybe the way you've seen it in this reality, the stuff that makes it, you think it's really hard and makes you think that having a lot of success, whether it's financial or otherwise, is a really far away concept for you, or something that you keep forgetting about because you get stuck in the, how do I just move forward a little bit and just a little bit and just survive day to day, rather than really remembering each moment how much you're part of the bigger picture and what the bigger picture is. So I'm really excited, because something that's really an area and a topic that excites me and is like my area of genius, like it's where I love working and facilitating, and it's very easy for me to show up in that area. That's what other people are saying, this is what they want more of. And then for the people that, like me, I'm like, oh, but there's all these other parts of business, you know, there's the social media, and there's the websites, and there's the funnels, and there's the conversions, and there's the sales and marketing technique, and there is the technicalities of how to do best practice in business to ensure more success. What about that stuff? And so for that stuff, not only is there all the information I have from, you know, doing business for the last 10 years now, but I'm getting really amazing professionals, really amazing experts in their fields who might be completely unrelated to who I am and how I function. But they are the absolute best that I have found in the area that they specialize in. So they're coming on to be guest experts to give us their expertise and to allow us to have this beautiful amalgamation of the energetic and the practical. So I basically today wanted to just do this Q&A and see, like, what are your questions? What are your hang-ups? What are your possibilities? What are your fears? What are the things you would like to create? What is the future you're wishing to create? What does building an empire mean to you? Let's chat, let's talk, and I can email you all the information later. So what's going on for you guys? What's tell me more. You're all muted, so if anyone wants to speak, you can either type into the chat box or you can unmute yourself. So if anyone would like to unmute yourself, you're able to do that now.
Yeah. Hi, Adila.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Doing great.
Lovely. So I'm Shipra Adila. I'm based out of Bangalore, India. And yes, it's lovely to be on a call with you. I've heard so many amazing things about you. And
Aw,
yeah, this is one of I think this is my first call live that I'm doing with you. And yeah,
welcome. Thank you so much for being here. How does it get better?
indeed. And what else is possible, right? So since you've been inviting and all the questions that you ask, one of the I would like to share a little bit about my journey
Yeah.
with a business, and also somewhere like earlier. So I'm in a job, as well as right now I have started, like I last year somewhere where I initiated, with the seed of business, and I started something which originally was a completely different idea. It was around a product, and then when I like it just kept evolving. So I kept asking questions, and I kept following the energy, and somewhere it got directed me and transformed into something completely different. And now, so what's happening is, yeah, it changed, and then we were moving like steps at a time, a few steps at a time. However, it's been very it's not consistent. So it's like, the energies are bubbling. I can hear the whispers. I follow them. When I get to creating it, it's like I take two steps, and then somewhere it's like, there is nothing which moves forward.
Yeah. How long have you
And
been in business?
so I haven't really monetized on anything yet. But if you talk about the inception of the idea and creating, naming the entity, buying the domain and all of it, it started somewhere like uh, in Feb, really.
This year?
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Very cool. And do you have a specific question?
Yeah, so one is that, like I said, right, that it goes, like very on and off. That sometimes it's like when there is a when I hear certain whispers, I follow them, but then I don't really see things moving forward. So I mean, and is it lack of commitment, or is it just that and like we were talking also about the future, right? So my question is, sometimes we don't really know what the future is. Sometimes it is like, you have to take those baby steps,
Yes.
because you can't really see the bigger picture right away. Right now, I mean, at least I cannot. I'm sure there are certain people who have a bigger picture and maybe, take a smaller. So is there anything, like are there any questions that are asked, or, what is it that I can do to change this? What?
I want to talk a little bit about the practicalities also of what you're speaking to, because the reason I asked how long you've been in business is also like um, there is this real muscle to be developed around consistency. It's a major, and there's two things that I see a lot. One is the consistency muscle that a lot of us, I think when anyone starts their business, but where we drop that energy or it seems to go away and then we pick it back up and when you start out, and especially if you're running your business by yourself, if you're a sole trader, if you're a solo entrepreneur, it's very entwined with you, right? So if you're having a bad day, if you're low on energy, if you're busy with family or something else in your life, then the energy in that business drops away. So it's a real muscle to have it as something that's running consistently. And so there is an element of you staying in that space, at least energetically. It's not necessarily about also showing up physically and like working in your business every day for 10 hours a day, but it is about staying energetically connected to the entity of your business and um, basically having it energetically open as well, and not just when you're busy So a really great example is like around holiday times, like Christmas and New Year in the West, like Diwali in India. I know, like, even when I come to India, like, I don't like Diwali's a no-go because no one is going to show up. Everyone's really busy. So that's a good example, because if, say, preparation for Diwali, having Diwali, and then after Diwali, it's going to take you out of your business for 10 days to 2 weeks. That's okay that you might physically know that. So when that's happening in my life, I know that's happening. So I know I'm not scheduling classes or launches or anything major during that time. But I'm not energetically checking out of my business completely. And there's still a couple of things that might be like a 10 or 15-minute task each day that I'm going to be doing to check in, and also just having some systems in place. And systems is something that will come, I think, a lot further on, maybe 6 months or 12 months down the track, to keep that consistency. Yeah. And then from there, the questions to be asking, like, now, what's required? What can I do to show up consistently? What's required to be growing my business consistently? What's required for this to grow faster than I have decided it can, have imagined that it can, or that other people are projecting that it can? What's possible beyond my limitations? And then if you do what you've been saying, which is follow the whispers, you're then not doing that stop, start, stop, start. It's a bit of a smoother road. And that's the alignment that I'm talking about. So the key with business whispering and body whispering is get out of the way. You get out of the way. So when you find that alignment, get out of the way. Everything's going to show up with ease, or much more ease. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be full of ease. So get in alignment. You're basically hopping on the train. The trains are on the track. As long as you're not getting in the way, you're not derailing the train, it's actually going to go, because it's in alignment. And so you just have to fuel the train. What your job is as the business owner is you don't have to build the train and you don't have to push the train, but you do have to make sure that there is enough fuel. So whether it's a coal train or a steam train or an electric train, are you having it plugged into the energy? Are you giving it the energy it needs? And are you providing the practical input it requires to actually grow as an entity in this reality?
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. You're very welcome. Cool. Any other questions?
Hi, Adila. Thank you so
Hi,
much.
Adila.
Oh, I think we have two people talking.
Yes, I think we do. I think Deborah Priya was first, and then somebody else. And then, is it Malini?
Yeah, it was me, Malini.
Malini. Okay, who's going to go first?
Yes. Let Devapriya go first, and I'll go.
All right. Thank you, Malini. Hi, Adila. Thank you so much for the contribution that I am so in awe with all your calls and just for being who you are. So thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to share in terms of, like, I have so many ideas. Like, I'm always buzzing with ideas, and there's so much that I want to do. But I find it very difficult to monetize that and to put a business, it's like to put any monetary aspect to that, because most of those stuff, I just look at it as doing as a gift or a contribution. And so, it's like I have many, 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 many ideas, but monetizing those, something comes in the way of that always. And even with my access classes or even sessions for that matter, this is where I always get blocked.
Yeah. You've just reminded me of a second point also. It relates to what you're speaking to, but it also relates to the previous question. So I just want to say it while I remember. The second thing that I was going to say that I see, so first is that consistency, right? And how we drop the energy. And so that new business kind of doesn't really go and get into that flow and create momentum. The second thing that I see happening is even when we create a business, there's a really large percentage of people that are still treating it like a hobby. And so when you say that you struggle with the monetization part of your business, I understand it. And I also understand it because for those of us who are doing this kind of like facilitating healing work, work that we love, work that we're maybe transitioning into, there is so much love and joy for the work that there's often like, I'll just do it for free, or I'm just starting, or like, so there's two aspects. That prioritization isn't there, but really that treating it like a hobby, not like a real business. Like imagine. So, and many of us are in service-based businesses, okay? So service-based business means we're providing a service. A product-based business means I'm selling a product. So if I was selling soap, or if I was selling something for my business, I'm a product-based business. What I do and what many of you do is you're in a service-based business. You provide a service, whether it's, so accounting is a service-based business, facilitating, coaching is a service-based business, consulting is a service-based business. So what I always find interesting is it's the service-based business people that, because the service is provided by you, that that prioritization of that money seems to be lacking often, because you're so closely associating it with you doing something, and you're thinking, oh, it's okay, like I won't charge, or it's okay if I'm not making money on this, or that's okay, that didn't work, I'll try again. If you had a product-based business and you had hard costs associated with this, or you had a physical storefront to sell your products, you could not afford to operate in that way, because you would be A, losing money, B, you would not be making any money, and C, you would go out of business very quickly. And so that urgency around monetizing and being more consistent and prioritizing the sale and the monetization and the consistency is often quite different. There's a different mindset, not all the time, but often, with a product-based business as opposed to service-based businesses, especially when you associate that business as you, because you're the one providing the service. So you don't actually value your time and expertise. You're okay with not really making money.
Yeah, yes, exactly so.
So the couple of tips that I have for you is really about, first of all, what's the mindset required? What is the leap or the change or the steps required to change your mindset from treating your business like a hobby to treating it as a priority and actually as a real business, with money as one of the priorities and monetization of it as one of the priorities? Now, if that was what you were doing, how would you be showing up different? What actions would you be doing that are completely different? How much pressure would you be putting on yourself? And that might sound like that might sound like, oh, that sounds like that's a lot of pressure. But the reality is, if you had a storefront right now and you had ordered stock and you had to move that stock in order to make back your money and pay your wholesalers and pay for your lease on your shop, you'd be under pressure, and you'd probably be a little bit more productive and make it a bit more of a priority to show up in your business consistently, right? And charge people for your products. Everyone that walked in, you wouldn't be like, oh, well, I'll just give you a soap for free because you're here now and it's so nice of you to partake in my business that I'll give you some free soap.
Yeah.
So
Oh God,
these are
yes.
the kinds of mindset shifts, and these are the kinds of, like, this is always a journey, but there is like a some people, I've seen people in that, stuck in that part of the journey for like years and years. And so
Yeah.
if you've been stuck in that part of the journey for months or years or however long it's been, what's it going to take to change that now?
Yeah. Yes.
So play with
Thank
that
you so much.
question. You're very welcome. I'll get everyone to do something actually for a minute. If everyone can just, if you have a piece of paper, you can use that. If you just want to close your eyes, close your eyes. Just going to get everyone to do a quick thing of, if you have a business, tap into your business. If you don't have a business, I'd like you to just tap into yourself and ask yourself. So I've got 2 questions for you. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to just do this quickly. If you have a business, I'd like you to ask the entity of your business what it requires and what it would really like you to do, or how it would like you to start showing up in the world for it to be successful. So what does your business require from you? If you don't have a business yet, I would like, or you have a hobby business and you don't have a serious business, I'd like you to ask, what would you like to create now? And what would you really like to get out of this call? But also, what would you really, as a tangible outcome, like to create for your life and for your future in the next 6 to 12 months? And just give yourself a little bit of time. Give yourself 2 minutes to just tap into the entity of yourself, your own awareness, or the entity of your business, and ask those questions, okay? So I'll give everyone 2 minutes now. You might find it easier to close your eyes. You might keep your eyes open. You might write it down. You might just have pictures or words coming to you. See what comes up. Any questions?
Yeah, I would like to speak up now.
Sure.
All right. My name is Malini, and I had attended your 5 days of business. And when I was attending it, I was quite skeptical about it, that whether it's going to bring some change or not. But when I did it on my own later on, again, through your videos and audios, it brought a lot of change to my business. I would say whatever amount I had fixed to receive for that 1 week, I did receive that. And I'm thankful to you that you cleared a lot of beliefs of mine through your videos and audios only. So that was a big surprise, that something which was stuck from so many years started to work. And now when I did this exercise for 2 minutes, my business told me that it requires a lot of self work first. Secondly, more visibility, and the line which came into my awareness was, show me to let others know me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. Does it surprise you, like, how succinct and clear that communication is? Like, it blows my mind still how. And I love what you said. I love when people are skeptical, because I'm skeptical too. I'm always skeptical. And I'm always like, what? The 5-day money challenge worked again? Helped hundreds of people again? This is so weird. I don't know how it works each time. But I'm so grateful for that, because you should be skeptical. You should maybe not be skeptical, but at least be in question as to, is this going to work? I wonder what's going to show up. Be genuinely curious and allow the possibilities to come in. And then when you do something like this and you get such a clear awareness from the entity of your business, it's amazing, because this is what I would also offer to maybe to those of us who've been doing business or consciousness work for a long time, is the level that's always like, there's always more. You know, we might think that we've got there, or we have this awareness, or we're successful now, or we've reached a certain level of awareness or ability to function in our business and in our life and create consciously. And then there's this next level and this next layer, and then this next level and this next layer. And it's such a beautiful journey. What really excites me is when you're on this beautiful journey of like self-awareness and consciousness, and personal work, as you're talking about, like doing more work for yourself, and that will translate into results in your business as well. But also what I love is then seeing how much that creates tangible and practical success in this reality. It's so cool. Like, money is often the hardest thing. People do years and years of work on money, and it's like, you know, people get very frustrated and very like caught up in the lack of money. And it still surprises me, but I trust it so much more now, is how like when we do this consciousness work, when we work on ourselves, when we show up, when we're part of calls and programs like this, where we show up to better ourselves and also to better our businesses, when we do it in that aligned way, everything starts to change and increase, including the practical success. So you might be doing all this work and you're working on your mindset, and you don't expect it to translate into, you know, a very tangible change in another area, but it does. And vice versa. When you change your patterning, when you change what physically happens in your life, so if your belief has always been that you're not good with money and you can't actually make much money in your business, and you love what you do but you'll never be very successful at it or very financially successful at it, when you do something in your life that proves that wrong, when you make a lot of money, when you become successful, when you have more success than you expected, you start to show that limiting belief that it's not true. So the work works together. This is why I love both aspects. This is why I love doing the practical things and making the money and having business work, as well as the consciousness work and the mindset work and the self-awareness and self-development and alignment work. Because whatever one you think is more important to you and that you're needing to work on, when you also work on the other one, they work in together like this. And that's the beauty of consciousness and this work, and creating authentic business. This isn't about needing to you could be an accountant, like I said, you might be a real estate agent, you might be a mortgage broker, you might be in any industry. This work and the calls and classes that I do are not limited to people who are into this field or realm or want to be conscious. It's just that it works regardless. As Malini said, even if you're skeptical and didn't expect it to work, it still works, which is like the gold standard, right? Okay. Yes, are you there now, Malini? Oh, I think she's disappeared. Okay. All right, any other questions, comments, or queries?
Adila, hi, Suruchi.
Hi, Suruchi.
I have a question. Like when you asked us to do, so my business first gave me an energy. So I asked the business to give me a word for that energy, so that my mind can figure it out what exactly it is. And then the word came aggressive.
Yes. Yes.
So then and again I went like, so is that also the way like business talk to you in terms of energy? And when you ask them, "Ki, what do you mean by this energy? Can you put it in a way that my mind can get it so that I can get present to words and things like that?" So aggressive, because first a lot of things came. So I kind of put my point of view aside. And then I asked, can you show me the word which will allow me to understand what this energy is? And then the word that popped was aggressive or
No.
aggression.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, so it was actually, I went into doubt, and then I asked the energy of aggression to show up, and it felt exactly the same. So just wanted to share that. Sometimes it just doesn't come like in words, it just comes like in an energy form, which we can't put words to it. So
Totally.
is there any other way that I could have asked questions around it with that energy, or anything that you can add?
I think that's pretty great. Like when you receive an awareness or information and it's not clear, like just ask more questions. Could I have this with more clarity? What do you mean? Like, how else can you show me this? Is there a word? Is there more information? What else do I require here? You might use some other tools. I know how to muscle test, so I sometimes use muscle testing on myself. You might use a body sway. You might use a pendulum if you're into that stuff. You can use a partner or a facilitator. You could be like, hey, I had this energy come up. I need some more clarity around it. Could you ask me some questions or just do a buddy exercise with me? Just be a mirror for me. Ask that energy to show up, ask some questions around it. And when the information coming up matches the energy, then you're on it, and your partner can ask you more questions like, is it this, is it that, was it related to this? So there's lots of things you can do, but I actually love the way that you did it, because see how quick and effective it was. You didn't have to go anywhere, you don't have to do anything, you just had to ask for more clarity and you got it. I had like that message come up so clearly today around like, ask and you shall receive, and the universe is always listening. One of the things I really missed the most around lockdown was actually not having any fresh flowers. Like, I know it seems really minor and not important in the grand scheme of what's going on in the world, but like 6 to 8 weeks with no florists open, no fresh flowers, I was just like, man, I really miss like fresh flowers. I am always happy and willing to. Anyway, so I ordered some flowers today that will arrive tomorrow. But then today somebody came and they delivered 3 lots of these orchids for me. Orchids are one of my favorite flowers. And these are like some of the most amazing and expensive flowers you can get in New Zealand. And so I have 3 big bunches of these that were left for me at my doorstep just by a friend. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this energy thing and this ask and receive and this consciousness and connection thing, I know it can sound so airy-fairy, but it's so real on the other side as well. Like, it's so real. And like I said earlier, if we just got out of the way, if we just stopped ourselves by not receiving with our points of view, like Saruchi said, this energy came up, this word came up, she had to get out of her own points of view about what the word aggression is, what it means, because aggression is an amazingly contributory energy. A lot of us require more aggression, or another play on that word is assertiveness, requiring to show up and be assertive and be aggressive in our presence and in pursuing what we wish to create in the world. I really do believe that a lot of us are settling for so much less than what's possible, and settling for such a milder, meeker version for whatever reason. Whatever conditioning you've experienced, maybe the background you're from, the family you're from, the country you're from, the culture you're from, your points of view, as Saruchi said, about how you can't be assertive or aggressive or money-minded or whatever. And it's such a limitation. And we're allowing those limitations to honestly and truly limit us and limit our business. And then get very frustrated because we wonder why we're not creating and getting the results. And so here's my question for you all. How mild and meek and how not aggressive are you being in pursuing what you say you really, really desire? So I just asked you all to get an awareness of what is it that you would really like to create or have in your life or in the world. Now, on a scale of 0 to 10, or on a scale of 0% to 100%, if I were to ask you truth, how committed are you truly being to bringing that to existence, to fruition, to really creating the outcomes you would like to create? Are you showing up? Are you applying yourself? Are you being committed 30%, 50%, 70%, 15%, 5%? How many of you are allowing such a small percentage of what's possible to actually be what's occurring, because you're not willing to be these other things and energies that you actually are required to be, whether it's aggressive or assertive or showing up or visible or talking about it or making money a priority because you've been told that that's greedy or wrong or you shouldn't do it because it's not tasteful. That's not going to create the world you want to create, and it's not going to create the business you want to create, and it's not going to create an empire. This is why many of us don't have an empire yet, but it's also why many of you won't ever have an empire. And so for me, it's been about consistently not only getting out of my own way, but really getting out of like, you know what, I'm going to be so committed to what I wish to create. I am going to be assertive with what I know is true and possible. I'm not going to let other people stop me. I'm also not going to let myself stop me. I'm not going to give up. And so, you know, coming back to building your own empire, this program then is a year-long journey, because that consistency and that muscle that I was talking about earlier that's required to be created, it's actually not going to be created in a one-day class or even in a 1-month program or a 2-month program. I have other programs. I have an amazing 3-month program that is absolutely amazing. We create so much change in that program. It's so wonderful and perfectly suited for what the target of that program is, which is a foundational program, the business upgrade. For building your own empire, the commitment to building an empire spans what? 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. Maybe you're creating the empire and it'll be your children and your grandchildren that reap the benefits of it, but you get to have the fun of creating it. So in order to start building that muscle and getting on that train, we're doing a program that's going to be a year, because anything shorter is too short. We're not being consistent enough. We're not being committed enough. We're not putting our money and our energy and our commitment in the right places. We're doing all these things, but it's very, it's not aligned. We're doing different classes with different people, and they're all valuable and they're giving us a lot of information, but where a lot of us fall down is in the integration and the implementation of what's required. So it doesn't matter how many classes you go to and how many coaches you've worked with, if you're not implementing what you receive, and if you're not being consistent with it, and if you're not following through with it, if you're not really taking up as much change as possible and propelling yourself forward, you're doing a disservice to yourself, but you're also really not putting your energy and your time and your money and investing it in the right places. So this program is very different. It's a year long, which for some of you might be a really long time and much longer than any other program or coaching that you've done with someone consistently. there's two elements to it. One is the coaching and facilitation for your business that's done in a group setting. The second is a group mastermind. For those of you that don't know about the concept of a mastermind, it's the concept of when you come together with a group of very like-minded people. And this is why I'm doing one-on-ones with each of the participants. This is why there's prerequisites to the program. You have to have an existing business. You have to know, you have to have your business basics sorted and know what you wish to create and already be on your way to creating it. So you get into this group situation and you build not only the rapport, but you kind of have this team with you for the whole year that are accountability buddies, that have areas of expertise in different areas so they can help you. Where you feel that you have a weakness, they can show you the way. Where you have a strength, you can lend it to them. You can make connections and buddy up with people. You basically are creating a group of like-minded people that you're consistently creating with and having a space to be vulnerable in and celebrate in and be honest about what you're wanting to create and be supported in this group. So that's the point of a mastermind. And you put a mastermind together with facilitation and coaching, together with a greater energy and consciousness and the entity of your business, and you're consistent with that for a year, I wonder what would be created. I wonder where you'd be in 12 months. I wonder how that future would be different to the future created if you didn't apply yourself in that way with that consistency to your business. And for some of you who are not yet at that stage, or you've never even come across a concept like this before, that's completely fine. Maybe the point of this call for you is also to put this awareness into your universe that something like this exists. And this is something for you to work towards in the future. Someone like me, I've worked with coaches and done masterminds for many, many years. And it's always been a progression. I'm in New Zealand. Often the greatest leaders in this field are usually between mostly America, North America, some in Australia. So I've progressively worked with, and then each year had worked with coaches and mentors and joined masterminds at increasing levels over the years to push me further. You need to have something that's pulling you that is greater than where you already are. If you're comfortable where you are, if you're already doing well or better than everyone around you, there's not a lot of motivation to create greater. So something that I say is, if you're the smartest or the richest or the most successful person in the room, you need to find a different room. If you're consistently like, oh, this is great, if you're not challenged, if you're not motivated to do better, if you don't feel a little bit threatened showing up somewhere because you're like, oh, like that person, I can see how much they're creating and it's not bringing up in you the inspiration or the motivation or the desire to create more for yourself because you're already at the top of the pile, find more people to hang around. Find other people who are doing something beyond where you are so that you have something to aspire to. And the beauty of online, like I just said, I'm in New Zealand. I haven't found those people in New Zealand. So I work with lots of people, most people overseas. And so for you all online, if those people aren't in the same city or country or community as you, welcome to the online world. Find an online community that resonates with you, that works for you, that is the right fit for you. And one of the options that now you know about is the BYOE program, the Build Your Own Empire program. So it starts July the 1st, and we run for 12 months. So it'll end at the end of August, I think, 2021. And each month we meet and have a group coaching call. We also meet again each month a second time and have a mastermind call. We have guest experts coming in. We have different things that we're working on. We have lots of bonus material. And we're basically creating a community and a mentorship, as well as the accreditation. For those of you that are interested in coaching or facilitating work and you want to become a business whispering coach like I am, this will also help you meet those requirements to become a certified business whispering coach yourself. So these are all the ways in which this program is designed to contribute to the future that you are creating. And today, I hope we've just started to light a fire under you or give you a bit more motivation to really start focusing on what is the future that you are creating. Because if you have been wondering why things are inconsistent, why it's stop and start, why money isn't working, or why you don't seem to be moving forward, if there's a lot of sideways movement in your life or business, or if there's a lot of I think Deborah was saying, or somebody else was saying, maybe 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back. If you feel like you're just going around in a circle or a square, or you're not really getting that forward momentum, I really invite you to look at what's going on and ask for the awareness of what's required to actually move you out of that and get you on that track, get you locked into those train tracks and move forward consistently. So any questions? I can share the screen with the information about the program. Here it is. So this is the Build Your Own Empire program. The other funny thing with alignment is this is the logo for BYOE. And then I came into my lounge today and I was like, oh, there's like a giant gold feather behind me. at my you probably can't see it, but that's like, it's a huge canvas with a gold feather on it. And so I thought, oh, well, this is where I will sit for this call. So building your own empire. You can all read this. I'll send it out to you after this call. But just in terms of what's included and what this program looks like for 12 months, we have monthly live Zoom calls. We have monthly live group mastermind. One of the things we're doing to help you step up as a leader as well is we're in the masterminds, we're like going to be sharing that load. It's not going to be me leading the masterminds. It'll be the participants each having turns and really taking ownership of that space. You have your Facebook group, you have your WhatsApp group. We have some amazing experts from all over the world. We've got an American, we've got an Australian, we've got digital marketing, we've got public speaking, all the different things that you might need to be able to do well to really show up in your business. And to cover those areas where I can speak to you about pretty much most, if not all, areas of business, but there are definitely areas where I'm not the expert. That's not my area of expertise. I wanted to get in the people that really did specialize in those areas, so you are getting the very best information. There'll be some bonus calls and classes and resources that we absolutely provide. And yeah, at the end of it, for those of you that are interested in becoming a certified coach or a facilitator of body or business whispering, this program is part of the prerequisites. And the reason for that is I really would like people to, and this is the application process. So you can apply here and then we'll go in to a one-on-one call, scheduling a one-on-one call with me to see if it's the best fit. I'm not gonna make you commit to something that's not right for you at this time. The pricing for this is really great value this year. This will most definitely probably maybe be closer to double this in the coming years, but for our introductory year, we're making this available at $250 a month for 12 months. That's $3,000 US total. Basically, that's one of those elements, but I'm including all of that for the whole 12 months for that price. So for those of you who, I'm just going to stop that share now, who want to apply, the only major prerequisite, as you have seen, is the having an existing business. Now, there's always exceptions. The two exceptions I've come up against with people who are applying is you might have a new business right now, but you might have many years of experience in doing business in another industry or field. So if you feel like you're pretty well versed in business, but you just have the current business you want to focus on is a new business, that might still work. So that's fine. This program is to cater for those of you who have your basics sorted. You're not asking questions like, how do I create a Facebook group? How do I do this? How do I do that? The basics are already there, and we're teaching you how to scale. We're teaching you how to get consistent with money. We're teaching you how to have growth in your business because you already have the basic level of clients coming in, a basic level of income. We're wanting to really exponentialize. Okay. Any questions about that before we start wrapping up? So what we will do is I'm going to give people, Ojal is asking, do I have any offering on how to start a new business? Yes, the business upgrade program. It's a 3-month program. It's the foundational program. It'll take you through all of the basics energetically as well as practically. We're in the middle of that right now, but the next round is going to start September. The waiting list is open for the next round. So if you want to join the waiting list for the next round of that, you can join it here. If you go to my website, if you go to classes and events, and you click on business upgrade, you can fill in the application and read more about that program. And that's going to start again in September. And you can join that. I hope that answers your question. You're welcome. Here it is here. There we go. Okay, any other questions, guys? We're like bang on time. We'll start wrapping up. You guys have been amazing. I've loved this conversation. Okay, so I will email everyone. I will email you this replay. I will email you the links to the program, and I will talk to you all soon. We'll do another call, and I look forward to doing some one-on-ones with those of you who feel like this is for you. And for everyone else and all the new people I got to meet and talk to today, thank you so much. I'm forever grateful. And what else is possible for you and your businesses, okay? Yay. Take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much for this time given to us, Adela.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you, everyone. I've loved having this conversation. To building our empires, ask your businesses what it would take and what empire it would like to be and what it would like you to create for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and what's required for you to be able to do that with a lot of ease and joy and glory and grace. Okay. See you guys. Take care.